thing you want to think about after an accident is getting well. That's the thing you want to be focused on. The sooner you're feeling back to normal, the better. And the sooner you get treatment, the sooner you'll be feeling back to normal. What I recommend to patients is see your doctor, whether it's your primary care doctor or your chiropractic doctor. Get in, get an appointment, and get whatever necessary tests run that need to be run so that we know that nothing serious has gone on. The longer a person waits to come in to see their doctor, the more swelling, muscle tension, and pain sets into a person's body. The sooner we deal with that, the better. After an accident, it is perfectly reasonable to go see your primary care doctor, and it is also equally reasonable to see your chiropractor. Chiropractors are uniquely trained to deal with problems in the musculoskeletal system. Most of the time when people have been in car accidents, the reason they're in pain afterwards is that muscles, tendons, ligaments, and joints have been overstretched. We call those strains and sprains. Chiropractors are, by training, probably in the best position to diagnose and treat those kinds of conditions in the fastest and most efficient way. Patients can experience virtually any kind of symptoms following an auto accident. If some portion of your body strikes the interior of a car, even the shoulder harness, you can have bruising at the point of contact. When the head is whipped backward and forward, the brain can actually bang against the inside of the skull, creating a concussion. In other cases, symptoms can be more serious. If you have symptoms going down your arm, tingling, numbness, weakness in an extremity, or pain that radiates from the neck down the arm into the fingers, or from the back down the leg into the feet, those are more serious symptoms of nerve impingement. For those things, it is absolutely important that you have a good diagnostic workup as soon as possible. But even strain and sprain injuries really need to be taken seriously, because if they're not, the pain from them can linger for months or even years in some cases. It's very common following a motor vehicle accident that patients may not feel pain immediately. Sometimes it takes a few days for the swelling and for congestion and for muscle tension to set in at a level where it becomes symptomatic. Very often we see on the third or fourth or fifth day a peak of symptoms, but there have been many cases that I've seen in which patients did not know they were injured for several weeks. Occult injuries are common after auto accidents. People think they've had a minor injury, and it turns out later on that they've got a herniated disc or a pinched nerve or some other kind of more serious type of trauma. And very often they won't know about that for many weeks to come, when what they thought were just minor aches and pains aren't going away. Here's what we know. The rear bumper assemblies on cars are designed to let your car bounce when it's been struck from behind. Any motor vehicle accident that is under 8 miles per hour will cause essentially no damage to your car. And that's one of the things that insurance companies today will use as evidence to prove that you could not have been injured. If your car wasn't injured, you could not have been injured. But actually what we know is that crush injury is almost never the cause of injury in motor vehicle accidents. In other words, when one car strikes another, the deformation of your car hitting you is not what hurts you. What hurts you is acceleration. And when a rear bumper assembly is designed to bounce, the acceleration of your body can be many times faster than the actual speed of impact. So for example, an 8-mile-an-hour rear impact collision can cause your head and neck to accelerate from 0 to 30 miles an hour in a fraction of a second. It's like getting hit from behind by a linebacker. So even if there's no damage to your car, there can be a lot of damage to your body. One of the most common questions I'm asked is, after an auto accident, how do I pay for my medical care? And there are really 3 common ways that people pay for their care after they've been in an auto accident. The best one is a thing called MedPay. And MedPay is a provision in a lot of auto policies that a lot of people don't even know that they have. What's great about MedPay is it's a set aside of money, usually up to about $5,000, that patients can use after they've been in an auto accident, regardless of whose fault the accident was. And MedPay covers everything. There's no deductible to meet, and there's no copays to make. And so in almost all cases in my office, if you've got MedPay, MedPay will cover all of your care, and you don't have to make any cash out-of-pocket payments as you go. The second way patients can go is they can use their private health insurance. And the third way is to go on what's called a lien. Patients who choose to hire an attorney to help them manage and settle their auto claim can sign a document which guarantees that when they get their final settlement, their doctors get paid. And when you go on a lien, you make a small payment out of pocket each visit, and the remainder of your bill gets paid when your case finally settles, however long that takes. That helps take the burden off of a lot of patients who don't have private health care coverage or who don't want to use up all their private health care coverage while they're coming to see their doctor for an auto case. While we don't tell patients it's a necessity that they hire an attorney, we do say this: after an accident, you've got enough stuff to deal with. And sometimes hiring an attorney is the best thing you can do to take pressure off your shoulders of having to do battle with your insurance company. And we'd be happy to provide you with referrals to the 3 attorneys whom we do business with on a regular basis, who will take excellent care of you. Another question that I'm very often asked is, how long can I expect it to take before I'm feeling all well? And of course the answer is, that's variable. It varies from person to person, and with any given person it would vary depending on the severity of injuries. That being said, most commonly what we see is that when people are injured with a typical strain and sprain injury to the neck, the shoulders, the upper back, the lower back, most of our patients are well within 6 to 8 weeks, completely back to normal. One of the things that we know is that the difference between our patients who get well very quickly and our patients who take longer to get well is very often that the patients who take longer to get well are dealing with a much higher level of stress, which creates muscle tension in their body. At our office, we are really focused on trying to take all the pressure off of patients so that their stress levels calm down. In any case, what we want to do is we want to make sure that you are all well before you settle your claim.